So, in Remnant 2, there is a world boss at the very end of Yeesha where you have to make a choice between the Ravager or the Doe. And in this video, we're going to go through all four of the choices you can make, the rewards you're going to get, exactly how you get there. And if you've seen this water harp before, then you are in the right area. In order to get this world boss to spawn, you are going to have to roll your Yeesha world, and the very beginning place you go to is going to be the Forbidden Grove. So once you start in the Forbidden Grove, you make your way like through all the doors that have the exclamation marks above them. That's going to signal you're making story progress. You're going to come to the Flautist, and he is going to give you the quest that involves like taking down the Ravager, saving the Doe. So in order to get this water harp to work, you cannot just use it straight away. What you need to do is carry on with your story progression until you get to the point where you are able to open this door. So the checkpoint is going to be in here. You will not have access to this area. If you've got the exact same role as this, you'll have to go up to the top of the stairs, enter the dungeon there, make your way all the way through until you come back to the Forbidden Grove. Then you'll make your way to this checkpoint. But in order to activate the water harp and use it, what you need to do is before you go down to the checkpoint or even after, come up these stairs, and inside this room, there is going to be a lever. Once you pull this lever, that is going to activate the water harp. So once you've made it back to the water harp, it's going to be activated. You're going to see the mechanism spinning and stuff. There are two songs you can play on this water harp, and the first one I'm going to show you is the secret song, which is going to lift the pillar up out of the ground right here, and is going to give you a secondary weapon or a handgun called the Bolt Driver, which is really, really powerful. So coming up to the water harp, what you're going to do is I'll put the sequence up on screen. So it's 14025030. So as you're reading through the numbers, go down each time. So it would start off with 1, then it would be 4, and you have to raise the pegs out for each of the numbers. Then it would go 0, then it goes 2, then it would go 5, and then it goes 0, so we lower that 5 peg. Then it goes 3, then it goes 0. Once you have done that, if you come over to the lever and you pull it, it's going to lift up the water harp, it's going to play a song, and then you are going to see after the song's completed, this pillar raise up and give you your weapon. So now the song's complete, the pillar starts raising up, and when it gets to the top, you are going to get yourself the Bolt Driver. You can see it in there. I've already got it and it's max level, so it's not going to do anything for me. It just gives me 250 scrap. But once the secret song is out of the way, if you come back over to the water harp, what you're going to do this time in order to raise the bridge, make progress to where you're making the choice of the Ravager or the Doe, is you are going to input the sequence 5, 0, so you leave that one blank, then you go 4, then 0 again, then you go 3, so that's the middle one, then you go 4, then you go 1, and you leave this bottom one blank again. And same as before, you come over to the lever. That's going to play a separate song, and that is going to raise up the bridge. So we go and stand here, and we wait. So when the bridge lifts up, if you run over to this doorway, you will see an interact prompt pop up. And when you go inside there, walk all the way to the end of the corridor, you will get a cutscene and the Ravager's going to come out and start talking to you. So that is where you make your choice. After the Ravager says to you, like, follow me, let me explain, blah, 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 you're going to pick your choices then. So for choice number 1 is probably going to be the most popular one. If you go into the fight, you get the Ravager about halfway through. So you leave the Doe as it is, you shoot the Ravager, initiate the boss fight. You get the boss about halfway through. The Ravager is going to go over to the Doe and start eating it. And once the Ravager has finished eating the Doe, finish off that fight and you are going to get a crafting material that when you take it back to Ava in Ward 13, you are going to be able to craft the Merciless. And if I show you the Merciless quickly, it is a long gun and it's going to fire its bullets or its fletchets, and they are going to apply bleed over time. And with Bloodline, it fires a devastating blast which penetrates through all enemies in its path, deals quite a lot of damage. Like, that's based on my build and stuff, so it's going to be different for you guys. But it's got a 25% critical damage bonus and 3 times additional stagger. It's also going to increase the damage by 50% for each enemy penetrated. And then it's got its mod power requirement underneath. Then option number 2 is to start the fight with the Ravager. So leave the dough as it is, start the fight with the Ravager, and before you get halfway through, so pretty much as soon as you start the fight, if you kill the dough yourself instead of letting it be eaten, then go and kill the Ravager after, you are going to get a crafting material you take back to Ava, and you are going to get a melee weapon called Feral Judgment. So this is a pair of gauntlets or claws, they've got sharp crystal blades, and its mod is Death Sentence. Dealing melee damage 6 times over 10 seconds empowers Feral Judgment, and when they are empowered, neutral backdash charge attacks apply Death Sentence. After 1.5 seconds of being sentenced, the enemy is going to suffer 10 Phantom Strikes, dealing 93.8 damage each, and it deals 25% additional damage to bleeding enemies. So choice number 3 is to revive the dough and kill the Ravager. So if you decide to do this, before you attack anything in that room, go up to the dough, there'll be a prompt, and you can use a Dragon Heart to revive it, or whichever relic you're using. Once you've revived it, the dough's going to attack the Ravager, then you're going to have to do the boss fight normally. So kill the Ravager, and upon doing that, you'll get a crafting material you take back to Ava, and you are going to get the, if we have a look, the red dough staff, which is right down here. And with this, you get a mod called Lifeline. After dealing 750 damage, the next charge attack, so when you hold down like your mouse button or the attack button, it causes the spirit of the red dough to stampede forward, dealing 600 damage to enemies, and it regenerates 10% health to allies. So that's a really, really good healing staff. But alongside that, if you come back to the very beginning of the Forbidden Grove, so right back to the starting checkpoint, you will see this NPC here. And after you have revived the dough and killed the Ravager, you come back to this NPC, go through the dialogue and everything, and you are going to be given an extra weapon, which is another melee, and it is, when I find it, it's going to be the Rebellion Spear. No special mod or anything like that, but it is an extra weapon, and the spears in general in this game are really cool. So the fourth and final choice is to kill the dough by shooting it, and you avoid the Ravager fight altogether. So as soon as you get into that room, shoot the dough, it's going to kill it. The Ravager's going to be like, yes, you sided with me. That is it over. You are going to be awarded the Ravager's Mark Amulet, which is a really, really helpful amulet for bleed builds. You'll see it increases all damage dealt to bleeding targets by 20%, and the bonus increases to 30% for targets that have 50% or lower health. But then what you're going to do is come back to the very beginning of the Forbidden Grove, so right next to the NPC that you'll see like the very first time you enter the world. Come round to here at the bottom of the stairs, and you are going to see this statue. And if you stand in front of the statue and you go into your character and you equip the Ravager's Mark, you are going to see the statue start moving, and underneath you the floor is going to start moving anytime now. There we go. So it's like a trapdoor opens up, and once that is open, anytime today. There we go. We make our way down to the bottom of the stairs, and inside this room there's going to be a consumable. So this is called the Fruit of Death. And upon receiving this consumable, what you are going to do is go into your inventory, and it says, a sickly sweet aroma wafts from this vivid fruit. Its temptation nigh irresistible, but to bite into its succulent flesh would surely mean death. So yeah, we're going to use that. And to save me a little bit of hassle, I do have the Challenger Prime perk, so that's revived me. And I mean, actually, I can do it right now. So if we go back into the inventory and we use it again, then we are going to fully die. And once we respawn, we are going to eat it again. So that's the third time. And this time, you are going to get a new relic called Lifeless Heart. So if we take a look at Lifeless Heart, it is a relic that on use heals 30 health over 0.5 seconds, but it doubles your relic capacity. So instead of having 10 uses, I would have 20. So you'll see in the bottom left corner of the screen, I've got 20 uses, whereas I put a different one on my character. So if we go to, for a pure example, we go to Constrained Heart, and you'll see at the bottom left, I have 10. And just note with this, that's all 4 choices done. Just note with this that every time you want to do a different choice, you have to re-roll the whole of Yaesha. And after your first choice, after you've done the Ravager boss fight, whether you're actually killing the Ravager or not, that should be the end of the world. That is essentially the world boss. So that will unlock adventure mode, and that's when you can start re-rolling without affecting your campaign. But every time you want to go back and take a different choice and get a different reward, you will have to re-roll the world and run through it all again. But that was the guide for all 4 of the different choices available when you are going through the Ravager or the Doe choices in Yaesha in Remnant 2. And on that note, we are going to leave the video there. If you enjoyed it, leaving a like is appreciated. If you wish to support me further as a creator, there are links in the description. Let me know your thoughts about the video in the comments. And if you want to watch more, you can click the video on screen. All support on the channel is greatly appreciated, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.